She posted a TikTok bragging, keeping his ring, dumping the man. Thousands of comments cheered her on. I stayed silent. When the pawn shop told her it was worthless, the internet laughed louder than she ever did. I, Ronan, 31, a renewable energy consultant, had been with Bryn, 28, a social media influencer, for 3 years. We lived in Austin, Texas, a city that felt increasingly artificial to me. Our combined income was good, but her spending habits were unsustainable. I made about $130,000 and Bryn made about $60,000, mostly from sponsored posts. We rented a trendy, overpriced loft in South Congress. Our lifestyle was dictated by Bryn's need for content. We ate at visually appealing but often mediocre restaurants like Uchi. Our friends were mostly her influencer circle. They constantly validated her materialistic views. They saw life as a series of photo opportunities. I felt a growing cynicism. I wanted a life of substance. I wanted to build real, tangible wealth and make an impact. Bryn wanted fame and superficial validation. My career was at a standstill. I was good at my job, but my company was too small to take on large-scale, international projects. I wanted to lead significant renewable energy initiatives. I wanted to work on projects that genuinely changed communities. I was secretly looking for roles that offered massive responsibility and global reach. Bryn was completely uninterested in my work. She often called my projects boring or too technical for her audience. She saw my work as merely a steady paycheck to support her lifestyle. The opportunity came from an entirely unexpected source. It was with a major international nonprofit. They focused on bringing sustainable energy solutions to developing nations. The role was Director of Global Energy Initiatives. The location was Nairobi, Kenya. This was a huge move, a complete shift in lifestyle and priorities. The compensation package was excellent, though not purely corporate scale. The base salary was $200,000 annually. They included a full housing and living allowance, covering all expenses. They offered a significant, tax-free hardship bonus of $50,000 annually. This was the kind of opportunity that offered immense purpose and a path to true financial independence. It was a chance to make a real difference. I presented the offer to Bryn over a casual dinner at home. I was excited about the impact I could make. I thought the prestige of a global director role would appeal to her. Bryn, I got the job. It's a huge one. This changes everything, I said, placing the offer letter on the table. She picked it up immediately, her phone still in her other hand. Oh, is it a promotion? More money for my next big haul? She asked, a smirk on her face. It's Director of Global Energy Initiatives. With an international non-profit. The location is Nairobi, Kenya. She scanned the salary, but her face immediately turned sour. She crumpled the letter slightly. $200,000. Is that all, Ronan? My last brand deal almost paid that. And Kenya? Are you joking? That's like dirt roads and malaria. My followers would never get it. It's a top-tier non-profit. It's immense purpose. The salary is good, and it's entirely covered living expenses. We could save almost all of it. We could become incredibly wealthy by doing good. Wealthy and miserable. My entire audience is in North America. My content is based on living in Austin. You want me to give up my career, my brand, my entire audience, for what? A bunch of dusty villages. She scoffed. It's about making a difference. It's about impact. It's about building a legacy, Bryn, not just taking pretty pictures for likes. My pictures get millions of likes. You're such a typical do-gooder, Ronan. You always prioritize your little causes over everything else. You're socially awkward. You don't understand branding. This is ridiculous. Just tell them no. Her words cut deep. She always belittled my desire to make a difference. She saw it as a personal failing, a sign of my social ineptitude. Her dismissal was absolute. It was clear she valued her fleeting online fame over my life's purpose. I had to decide if my desire for impact and respect was worth losing her. The answer was quickly becoming clear. Update 1. I did not tell them no. I accepted the offer the next morning. I sent an enthusiastic email to the hiring manager. My decision was final. I would not allow her shallow materialism and self-absorption to dictate my path. I knew the conflict was coming. I was ready for it. My operation became entirely covered. The next few weeks were a strange dance of deception. I would try to bring up the Nairobi opportunity, looking for any sign of compromise. The non-profit offers fantastic travel opportunities. We could see the world. I suggested one evening. We already travel, Ronan. My brand trips take me to Bali and Tulum, not dusty aid camps. We are not discussing this again. It's not even an option, she replied, scrolling through her phone. But this is a chance to truly impact lives, to do real good. Your idea of real good is my idea of bad content. You don't get it. My followers want aspirational. They don't want poverty tourism. This is my career, Ronan. Don't ruin it. She repeated her dismissive lines constantly. They were designed to shame me. Her influencer friends also reinforced her views. At a launch party for a new makeup brand, her friend Skylar, a beauty blogger, cornered me. Ronan, seriously. Kenya, what about Bryn's aesthetic? Her engagement is already dipping. You're going to kill her brand. Skylar said, her tone dripping with judgment. It's a global director role. It's a chance to build sustainable infrastructure. It's not about aesthetics, I explained calmly. Everything is about aesthetics, Ronan. You're so naive. Bryn is right. You need to focus on what matters. Your little energy projects won't pay for her next sponsored trip. You're being selfish. I just smiled politely and walked away. Their collective scorn fueled my resolve. They were all trapped in the same superficial echo chamber. I began my meticulous, secret preparations. First, the finances. I spent hours with a financial advisor specializing in expatriate income. I opened a new individual investment account at a different bank. I also opened a separate offshore account. I rerouted almost all of my paycheck, including my final company bonus, into these new, hidden accounts. I left only enough in our joint account to cover her share of rent and utilities. Bryn never checked bank statements. She would not notice the difference. I made a detailed list of all our joint assets. They were minimal. Next came the logistics of the move. I spent my lunch breaks and evenings researching housing in Nairobi. I connected with the non-profit's relocation specialist. I found a secure, modern apartment in the Kilimani district. It was fully furnished and came with 24-hour security. I secured a lease entirely in my name. I used my vacation days for a quick trip to Nairobi, claiming I was attending an industry conference. I finalized all the paperwork. I started to separate our belongings slowly. I boxed up my extensive technical library. I packed all my heavy-duty field gear and my personal tools. I stored the boxes in a rental unit far from our home. I told Bryn I was selling some old equipment to a collector. She barely glanced at the boxes. She was too focused on filming a new makeup tutorial. I secured my visa and work permits for Kenya. The process was lengthy and involved. I kept all the paperwork hidden. Bryn would have seen the red flags immediately. I managed it all by scheduling calls and interviews during my workday. My focus was absolute. I was preparing for a complete, clean cut. I finalized the purchase of the engagement ring. It was a custom, design piece. I had chosen a specific cut and clarity. The diamond itself was high quality, but the setting was a unique, delicate alloy. I had the jeweler explain the properties of the alloy. It looked like platinum, but was actually a less valuable, though durable, composite. It could not be easily distinguished by the naked eye. I had done my research. I wanted a ring that looked expensive but had a hidden truth. I had the appraisal for the actual, lower value safely tucked away. The time for my departure arrived. I had 2 days left before I left Austin forever. We had been invited to a major brand launch party for one of Bryn's biggest clients. Bryn insisted we go. She wanted to show off the ring and film content. I agreed. I played the part of the devoted fiancé perfectly. I smiled. I shook hands. I let her film me for her stories. The next morning, Bryn was in a celebratory mood. Her brand deal had gone through. She was editing a TikTok video. She was talking excitedly about her growing follower count. She was wearing the engagement ring. I knew what I had to do. I placed a sealed, notarized letter on her vanity. It contained the formal termination of our engagement. It provided my lawyer's contact information. It listed the few joint assets. It included a polite request for the return of the engagement ring. I did not include any emotional text. I was calm. I was rational. I was done. Bryn, I've accepted the director role in Nairobi. I leave tomorrow. Our engagement is over, I said. She stared at the letter. She looked at the ring on her finger. She looked at me. Her mouth opened but no words came out. I just walked away. I did not look back. Later that afternoon, she posted a TikTok. It was a short video. It showed her hand, prominently displaying the engagement ring. Her text overlay read, "Keeping his ring, dumping the man." The comments section immediately exploded. Thousands of people cheered her on. They called me names. They called her a queen. I stayed silent. I already knew the truth. Update 2. Bryn's TikTok post went viral quickly. It was shared by thousands of her followers. The comments were universally supportive of her. They were venomous towards me. They called me a loser, an incel, a beta male. They praised her for being strong and independent. I watched it all from a quiet cafe in Austin, my bags packed. I felt nothing but a cold satisfaction. I had already set the trap. When Bryn's lawyer finally contacted mine, the reality of the situation hit her hard. I was already gone. I was in Kenya. My new assets were untouchable. My lawyer informed her that the engagement was formally terminated. The ring was a conditional gift. Its return was legally required. Bryn's lawyer, likely sensing no financial gain, seemed reluctant to press the issue. Her immediate reaction was a predictable explosion of anger. She sent me dozens of furious emails.
"You coward! Ronan! You ran away! You'll never get this ring back! I'm selling it to fund my new life!"
She wrote, "You're pathetic. You think this makes you strong. You're just a sad little man."
Man with a useless job.
Another said. I instructed my lawyer to send a final, one-sentence reply. It stated simply that all communication must cease, and that the ring's value was a matter of public record, implying she might wish to consult an appraiser. Then came the bargaining. She shifted to desperate emails. She promised to change. She offered to come to Kenya. She swore she would support my mission. I ignored them all. The social media performance continued. She kept posting about her heartbreak and empowerment. This was followed by a brief, dramatic period of performative depression. She posted tearful videos. She claimed I had suffered a mental breakdown and abandoned her for a crazy, cult-like job in a dangerous country. She spun a victim narrative that garnered even more sympathy. Finally, the spike of pure anger returned. She threatened legal action over perceived emotional damages. My lawyer easily dismissed these claims. Her primary asset, the engagement ring, was where my revenge truly began. A few weeks after my departure, a video appeared on TikTok. It was posted by a pawn shop owner. The owner, a small, independent shop, had seen Bryn's viral video. He had also seen her walk into his shop, ring in hand, demanding a high price. He recognized the ring from the video. He also recognized the specific alloy. He recorded his interaction with her. Bryn, looking smug, placed the ring on the counter. "How much for this?" "It's a 3-carat diamond. My ex just left me for some mission trip, so I'm selling his last mistake," she said to the camera. The pawn shop owner, clearly amused, examined the ring. He used a loupe. He scratched the band with a testing kit. "Mayam, this is a beautiful diamond, I'll give you that. But the band here, it's not platinum, it's a custom alloy. Very durable, very pretty. But it's not precious metal. It's worth maybe $50 for the scrap metal. The diamond is real, but the setting makes it hard to sell for much," he explained. Bryn's face went from smug confidence to utter shock. Her jaw dropped. $50.
"It cost him $10,000? It's platinum?"
She shrieked. "No, ma'am, it's not. My offer stands at $50, maybe $100 for the diamond alone, given the difficulty of extracting it cleanly. It's a nice design, but not what you think." The video quickly went viral. Thousands of comments. The same people who cheered her on, now laughed. They called her a scammer, a gold digger, an idiot. They shared my lawyer's initial polite message. The internet, the same beast that built her, now turned on her. It was brutal. It was magnificent. The pawn shop video was my quiet, logical revenge. It was the public humiliation she deserved. My moving day was completely absent of drama. I was already immersed in my new life. Bryn was nowhere to be seen. I felt a profound sense of relief. It was the calm of a life reclaimed. My new life in Nairobi was demanding, but deeply meaningful. The work was challenging. I was leading a team that was literally changing lives, bringing power to remote villages. I was respected by my colleagues. I felt a deep sense of purpose. I began thriving. I joined a local running club. I explored the vibrant markets and the natural beauty of Kenya. I made genuine friends with my colleagues. My work success was immense. Within 8 months, my team implemented Solar Mini, grids in 3 major regions. I was asked to present at a global summit. I received a significant performance bonus. It was for 80,000. I used the funds, combined with my savings, to make a large down payment on a small, modern house on the outskirts of Nairobi. It was a tangible victory. The lies Bryn had been spreading back home dissolved completely. She was telling everyone I was a struggling aid worker living in a tent. Ronan, what happened to you? Bryn said you were living in squalor. She said you got scammed. A mutual friend messaged, suddenly sounding confused. She told my co-workers you took a massive pay cut and were completely miserable. Another wrote, clearly apologetic. I ignored her old friends. I was polite but brief with my family, who were now hearing the true story. Ronan, your mother told me you're a director in Kenya. We had no idea. Bryn said you were a volunteer. Her aunt said, sounding genuinely ashamed. I decided to make the truth undeniably public. I posted a professional photo on LinkedIn. It was a picture of me shaking hands with a local community leader. It was in front of a newly installed solar array. My title, Director of Global Energy Initiatives, was clearly visible. I mentioned the immense impact of our projects. The prestige of the non-profit and the importance of my work were undeniable. The reaction was immediate. My professional network was incredibly supportive. Bryn's old social network was stunned. The flood of emails and texts was overwhelming. Director. Ronan, Bryn told us you were just doing basic charity work. I am so sorry we believed her. You look amazing. Skylar, the beauty blogger, wrote, clearly trying to backtrack. I apologize, Ronan. We truly thought you were making a terrible mistake. You've done something truly incredible. Rylan, an old friend, confessed. My family was universally proud. They validated my decision and expressed quiet anger at Bryn's deception. 3 months after the LinkedIn post, she showed up. I was leaving my office in Nairobi. A dusty taxi pulled up. Bryn stepped out. She looked tired and much less glamorous than I remembered. Ronan, I came all this way. I saw your LinkedIn. Director. The house is beautiful. I had no idea, she said, her voice thin. You didn't know because you chose not to know. You chose to believe I was a failure to justify your materialism and your need for attention. I replied, my voice steady. I've changed, Ronan. I've learned my lesson. The internet was so cruel. I want to move in. I can start a new channel about sustainable living. I'll support your mission. You've changed. Did you change when you posted that TikTok, mocking me and claiming my ring? Did you change when you called my work poverty tourism? You valued superficial likes over genuine impact. Now that my impact is globally recognized, you want a piece of it. She tried to insist she was genuine. I love you, Ronan. I miss us. You miss the life you thought you could exploit for content. You don't miss me. Your circumstances have changed. Mine have risen dramatically. The ring incident proved your true character. The answer is no. You are not moving in. This is my life now. I rejected her firmly. She became distraught. Her lawyer sent multiple letters. She demanded financial support. She claimed a share of my property, citing emotional distress and our long-term relationship. My lawyer, citing the swift termination of the engagement and my acquisition of assets post-separation, quickly dismantled her claims. The ring's low value was also noted. She lost everything. Her final move was a desperate social media campaign. She posted long, rambling stories about my supposed cruelty and her victimhood. She used the pawn shop video against me, claiming it was a conspiracy. The campaign completely backfired. The internet remembered her lies. Mutual friends called her out for her continued deception. Her influencer circle distanced themselves completely. She became a pariah. 1 year later, I was thriving completely. My salary was now over 280,000 with the hardship bonus. I had purchased a second small house, which I rented to a local family. My career was at a global peak. I was in a stable, respectful relationship with Aisha, a brilliant epidemiologist. Our relationship was based on shared purpose and mutual support. I received one final, short message from Bryn. It was a direct message on an old platform. You were right, Ronan. I was shallow. I ruined everything. I am truly sorry. My reply was brief and final. It was all the closure she would get. I accept your apology, Bryn. I wish you well. Final update. I was in London for a major UN-sponsored summit on global energy policy. I was a featured speaker. My reputation was now widely established. I received an unexpected email from Mrs. Hayes, Bryn's mother. She asked if I could meet her and Bryn's father, Mr. Hayes, for a quiet conversation. I agreed. I had always respected them as decent people. We met at a small, discreet hotel lounge. They looked profoundly tired and apologetic. We spoke briefly about my work. They seemed genuinely impressed. Then, Hayes spoke, his voice low and heavy. "Ronan, we came here to apologize to you. Not on behalf of Bryn, but on our own behalf," he said. "You don't need to do that, sir. I've moved on. I'm happy." "No, we do. We saw the pawn shop video. We saw her desperate social media posts. We heard the truth from everyone," Mrs. Hayes continued, her eyes full of sorrow. "We taught her the wrong values. We allowed her to chase superficial fame and material possessions. We taught her that her brand was more important than integrity or genuine relationships. We failed to teach her about true purpose. We are deeply sorry that we raised a daughter who could treat someone like you so cruelly." "Mr." Hayes nodded slowly. "She lost everything because she valued the appearance of wealth over its substance. She valued fleeting likes over a lifelong partnership. You were right all along, Ronan. We were wrong to dismiss your quiet drive. We are truly ashamed of her actions." Their apology was sincere and heartfelt. It was the ultimate vindication. It confirmed that the values I held, my commitment to purpose, my focus on impact, my quiet ambition, were the correct ones. It showed that my actions were not just about personal success, but about a fundamentally sound approach to life. I accepted their apology gracefully. I told them I held no resentment towards them. I wished Bryn well and hoped she found her path. I left the meeting feeling a deep, quiet sense of peace. My life now is a testament to the core lesson of this entire experience. Never compromise your genuine purpose for superficial validation. Bryn's betrayal and mockery were rooted in her own shallow values. She was afraid that my impactful work would expose the emptiness of her own content-driven existence. She tried to keep me small and pliable through ridicule and public shaming. I learned that the only way to triumph is through quiet, undeniable action. I did not engage in her public drama. I did not waste my energy fighting her emotional narratives. I simply built a life so deeply purposeful, so genuinely impactful, and so financially secure that her eventual realization of her error would be a consequence of my success, not a direct act of my revenge. I am not a vengeful man. I am a man of purpose. I created a new life that is incredibly meaningful, globally impactful, and personally rewarding. I am with a partner, Aisha, who shares my passion for making a difference. We are committed to a future of shared purpose and real impact. My career is thriving. I am happy. I am peaceful. I am fulfilled. I built this. I earned this.